Welcome back, everyone. So in this video we're going to insert student results using Excel sheet and also manually as well. Now, if you remember, we mapped a few students to subjects. For this very student we mapped three subjects. We did one automatically using the class, and then we did two directly on the student end. So this student is supposed to have just one subject mapped, and this student as well, basically all of the students are supposed to have just one subject mapped. Now, because we know that we have created about 9 subjects, if we go to the subjects, manage subjects, we're going to see that you know and then all the subjects are in category general and none of them are optional. It means that by default we're supposed to map all these subjects to all the students in this class, because it's like a requirement. You have to take this subject. That's basically the way we created it. you know Now, the the Excel sheet which we have is similar to what we excuse me is similar to what we you know did with importing the student data. So basically what we just removed was the class and the arm, and then we replaced it with test 1, test 2, added for assignments, and then exam. Now, and then I created an Excel formula, using the concatenate to join the full name, because I want to use the full name to match the students. So basically what this says is that this Augustine is the first name, the surname, and then if they have a middle name, the other name is going to concatenate it. So that's basically what this formula does. Now, you can use so many things to match the students. You can use the what's it called, the admission number. You can use the student code, depending on what you want to do. Now, you can also generate a report that presents it in a pattern whereby you can export to Excel, and then begin to insert the results if you want to do that. There's so many ways you can use to do that, but for now we have not touched the reporting end, so we're not going to talk about that just yet. Now, if you notice that we have a test, an assignment. So basically we need to create assessments. Okay, that's what this talks about. We need to create assessments. So how we're going to do that, we're going to come to student management, assessments, create assessments. Now, what we're going to do is to create an assessment. Now, because of the way we are naming this, because we want to import this, we want to make it as fast as possible. We don't want to have to insert results by hand individually for the students. So what you would have to do is to create the same name for the assessment part, the same name which you have in the Excel sheet or in the CSV file. If you're using a delimited text file, is going to be the same name you're going to call your assessment, so that the application can recognize and match which assessment is for which. Okay, now the exam is assumed that if it exists, it's just one. Okay, but for the assessments can be anything. Okay, you can create assessments. There are different assessment types. It could be assignments, classwork, practical, tests, project, and that sort of thing. So we're assuming that we have 2 tests in each term. Okay, this is like the first term. We're assuming that we're having two tests in the first term and then assignment. But you can create any number of assessments which you want, but we have already configured in our resulting settings that our assessment is going to only have 30 marks. So basically our continuous assessment is going to have 30 marks. So even if you're creating 100 assessments, okay, the final value must be 30. Okay, and so this, let me just show you real quick. So this is the final value. So the sum of all the final values of all the assessments you're going to create, okay, has to match exactly what you specified in the resulting settings. So I'm going to say test one. Okay. The short name is something that allows it to be visible when you are inserting, because if the name is too long, for instance like assignment, it's too long, inserting manually, the columns might leave the screen and you have to be scrolling, and then it makes it more difficult to insert results. And I'll show you the manual insertion and how it shows up. And it can also help in the results as well, in the result printing. So in the result title, when you want to show the assessments in the results as well. So the short name is something that allows it to fit in the result sheet. All right, this is a test, and then it's for SS1. It's for all the class arms. If you want to, you could specify that it is just for SS1A. You could also choose multiple arms if there were many, that this assessment is for them. But in this case, I'm just going to say it's for all the class arms, and then I'm going to create this for all subjects. Okay, you can just do this for a particular subject, but I'm going to do this for all subjects, so that's just going to save me time. And to make this easy, I'm just going to say this is 10 and this is going to be 10. So I'm going to create test 2 real quick. The same thing is a test. It's for SS1, it's for all arms and all class subjects, and the value is still going to be 10 because that's basically what we specified. If you can see the score over here, so we specified that the continuous assignment value is 30, so we're assuming that this is 10, this is 10, and this is 10. Okay, I'm going to do that for the next one, assignment. Okay, the system automatically detects the assignment and abbreviates it for you, but you can change that. But there is a maximum number of characters you have to specify for a short name. So I'm going to say this is assessment for SS1 in all class arms, for all class subjects, and same thing, it's going to be 10 marks. Okay, so now I have created the assignment, the assessments. Okay, I can proceed to importing this. I've already saved this on my desktop. Okay, as you can see over here for SS1, and then for SS1A, and then SS1B. So I'm going to come to student management. Now this is going to introduce an error, but I'm going to show you how to rectify it. I'm just trying to give you, a heads up that I know that this is going to result in, in some, error. So let's try to import the student result. Now you have to choose the class, and then you choose the arm. Okay. Now the idea behind this is to allow you to combine results. If you notice, we have this subject, we have to specify the subject because it allows us to combine so many results in one sheet as opposed to having to do it one after the other for all subjects. Imagine you have up to 15 subjects, and you're having to do that one after the other. It can be very daunting. So we decided to use this pattern whereby you have to specify the subject. Good thing Excel allows dragging. You can just drag, you can just write the subject for one and then just drag it for all the students, so it makes it easier. Okay, and then if you notice, we have the Agric, we have the English. Basically we have all the subjects here. Okay, we have all the subjects here, so it allows us to just import results once and then they'll all be available. So you have to choose the arm which you are importing this results for. Okay, we know it is SS1A, so we're going to choose the file. It's on my desktop, and then I'm just going to say SS1A results. Okay, now it shows you the first line. I'm going to say terminate process on error discovery because I don't want it to just spend time going through the file if there is an error, because I believe because they are all formatted the same way, if there's an error on one, it's most likely that there's going to be an error on all of them. Okay. Now, going to the next, you can read this information. You can see that matching can be done using the student code or the ID or the admission number or full name in the correct order. Okay. The full name in the correct order talks about the same way we specified, name ordering when we were, developing the school group settings, when we were configuring the school group settings. So if I come here now and then I want to map the subject to the subject, okay, the full name, I want to map it to full name because I want to use full name for identification. Exam, I want to map it to exam. Assignment is an assessment, so I will map it to assessment. Test is also an assessment. Test is also an assessment. Basically, we're not using any other field here. We're just interested in the full name to match the student, and then the tests, which are all assessments. The assignment is an assessment. The exam is an exam. The subject name, has to match the subject name as well. So you have to be careful when creating your subject name and then when also trying to insert them. So if I start import, you can see the error here saying could not find a student with full name as Augustine Tamano BL. Now, if you come down here, you will notice that the same what we specified as full name is a first name, the last name, and then if they have a middle name. So you can see Augustine Tamano BL. So this is like a first name, a space, a last name, and then a possible middle name if it exists. But if we come down to our school group and then we'll say manage school group, let's see the details which we specified for this. We're going to see that we have last name, first name, and middle name, which will not allow us to match the student. Okay, so we need to change this setting. So we need to change it to first name, last name, and middle name. You can always change it back, okay, but for this process, because of the way we have formatted it, you have to do this. Okay, so I'm going to come and edit this and then change this to first name, last name, and middle name. I'll save the changes and then we will start the process again, and this time hopefully we do not have any error. So let's go select that file again, ss1a results, and then I'm just still going to check this. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, so let's select this. The full name now should hopefully match. The assignment is an assessment. The test is an assessment. The test is an assessment. So let's start the importation process, and you can see that it successfully finds each and every one of the students and then it adds them. Now it doesn't just add them, it looks and checks if the student has been mapped to the subject. If the student has not been mapped to the subject, it automatically maps that student to the subject. As you can see, this student has been mapped to 7 subjects. If we come here, you can see that this student has been mapped to 9 subjects. Now you would ask me, why is this student mapped to just 7? You expected it to be 9. Now this was intentional because the student does not have results for a couple of courses. Now we have 20 students in each arm. If you notice, we have 20 students, so this is like number 20, okay, and then this is like agric. Okay, if you now scroll down, you will notice that towards the end we're missing, towards the end here we're missing number 20. Towards the end, number 20 is missing. This was intentional because I want to also show you how to insert results by hand. Okay, so it did not map the student to those subjects because it did not find any results in that file for the student, so it cannot assume that they are doing that subject. Okay, but for the other students, they were all mapped to the complete subjects because results were provided for them. So this is one way that saves you time, but you have to create the subjects first, okay, and then it looks and then does check-ins and then it maps automatically, so you don't have to do that manually. So the system tries as much as possible to do a whole lot of the weightlifting for you. So we're going to do the same thing for the other arm in the class, SS1B, and then I'm going to desktop SS1B results, and I'm going to say terminate as well. So we'll do the same selection which we made previously. Exam is exam, assignment is assessment. Now, because of the names which we gave them, okay, it mustn't, it's case insensitive, but spaces are regarded. So if you put a space like we have in test one, you have to also put it, name it correctly in when creating the assessment. So this also goes through and successfully adds the results for each and every one of the students. Now, if I come to, because this student has not been registered for all the subjects yet, so what I'm going to do is to manually map the student to the two subjects that are left. Now, if we do not do this, we're not going to see, because it's assuming, the system currently is assuming that the student is not doing this subject, though we know that they are supposed to do this subject. So if, for instance, I come to, if you notice, this is economics and mathematics. So if I want to insert results manually and I say insert students course for SS1A mathematics, we're not going to see this Irene here. Now you can see all the entries which we already made for all the other students using the important. Now we cannot see the Irene here because the student has not been mapped to this subject, so we have not told the system that the student takes this subject. In order to see the student here, we need to map the student to the subject. So I'm just going to select all and then map the student. Now if we come to insert students course for this for mathematics, we're going to see Irene. One moment. Okay, yeah, here's Irene. You can see that so far it's just showing 0. It means that nothing has been inserted. So what I'm going to do is just insert some random scores over here, and then I'm going to just say 49. Okay, so it's very simple, it's very easy to add. You just click on it and it automatically activates. It tries as much as possible to make it similar to what is obtainable in Excel, so that you can easily start adding scores. Like if you press the down on your keyboard, it automatically goes to the next. If you press the down, it automatically goes to the next. If you also press the tab, it goes to the if you press the tab key, it goes to the next, so that you can easily and quickly insert results. Now this arranges it in the same way as what you specified for the roll call. The whole idea is so that it is easy. If you have a system whereby you already have inserted results, like in a broadsheet that follows some patterns, some roll call arrangements, configuring that in the school group allows the students to show in that same order. Okay, if you don't want to see some columns, like you don't want to see the middle name, you can just disable it, so that it only shows the first and the last name, and then you have more real estate to view whatever it is you want to do. So I have added the scores. I need to save the changes. Okay, you need to save the changes for it to actually reflect that the student you've inserted the student score. So I'm just going to click on save, and that is done. Now there is one of the subjects which we have not done. I think is it physics? I think it's physics. We've not also added results for her. So I'm going to say insert students course SS1 A and then physics. I'm hoping it's physics. Is it? No, it's not physics. I think it's either economics or, yeah. Sorry about that. Either economics or geography. I'm not sure. Let me try. I'm thinking geography. So where is Irene? This is Irene. Apparently it's not also geography. I think I'd have to verify from the script. Give me a second. So this is complete. Okay, this is not complete. So what subject is this? Okay, this is mathematics. We've done that. So 19. So oh, it's biology. Wow, I missed that. All right, so let's quickly do that. Okay, SS1A and biology. So yeah, this is Irene. So I'm just going to say 8, 5, 9, 52, and I'm going to click on save changes. All right, we've been able to talk about inserting student result. And the next we're going to look at selecting result sheet designs and then generating the result sheet as well. So thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next.